Good morning, YouTubers. It's Lush again. This is only my second YouTube video and my first video with actual content in it. Today I'm going to actually go over pool care, specifically pool care after a thunderstorm. We had a pretty bad thunderstorm last night. It dumped a lot of water in our pool, possibly changing the balance of it, the pool chemistry. It also dumped a lot of debris in it. I got most of the large pieces of debris out of there. It still needs to be skimmed and vacuumed though. After that, we're going to go ahead and test the pool water. We're going to do two methods, one with regular test strips, which I don't really like doing that much, and also using one of these pool test kits. As you can see that. It's a lot more accurate, and I like playing around with the chemicals anyway, kind of like a science experiment. And that's pretty much what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and skim the pool. Wasn't too bad. Got most of the debris out earlier this morning. So all I got to do right now is just go ahead and vacuum it. So as you can see, all the stuff floating on the surface has pretty much been picked up. Just a lot of the smaller pieces, particles inside the pool, on the floor, especially like a lot of bugs, spiders. Get a lot of frogs here in the morning too. A lot of them die, so you got to scoop them out. But as you can see, that's what the pool looks like now. It doesn't look too bad actually. So let's go ahead and get it done. Alright, so what I have here is a 13,000 gallon pool, in-ground concrete. I got a single speed pump. I've got two skimmers and one main drain right here. There's two drains that actually go into one, so it's considered one drain. And if you know anything about pools, really, this is all basic plumbing. Here's my setup right here. Main drain valve, skimmer valves, and these are the water inlets. It puts water back into the, actually they're called return lines. They go back into the pool. So as you can see, all three on the intake is open, and all three in the outtake is open. So it's basically, the pressure is equalized right now. All right, so what I always do is I turn off one of my drains. I turn off the main drain. I close it off so it's not sucking in any water there. Now both skimmers are getting the majority of the water in there. Okay, so you got full pressure. All right, I'm using my cell phone, so it's kind of hard to record and connect all the stuff together at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it. Connect everything. the shallow end first, get the steps. And it's really just like using the vacuum cleaner. Focus the debris. Alright, so all I'm doing right now is just vacuuming it. It's kind of boring, but so those of you guys that live in Maryland know that Maryland's rain is slightly or somewhat acidic. So definitely have to test it, check the pH level. You know, normally I have to actually add a lot of acid to my pool pretty often. I got a saltwater pool and my pH always tends to spike. So you have to basically counteract that by adding acid, muriatic acid. I buy it from Home Depot. It's real cheap. You get like 2 gallons for like $10. So this is my first time vacuuming the pool while recording, so it's kind of a pain trying to get everything. But yeah, usually after a good rain, when I test the pool water, I've had the pool for 3 years, but usually I never had to add acid. So with my pool, I typically add acid if it doesn't rain, probably 2-3 times a week. And now they say, as far as testing your pool water, they say to do it weekly. I do it way more often than that. I test it probably every 2-3 days, more often if the pool gets heavy use. All right, or if we have, rain, something that could possibly change the balance. As far as shocking the pool, they say you should shock the pool once a week. I don't really go that crazy and do that. I will shock my pool if I notice algae buildup. I had an issue with algae earlier. I did add algicide, so it actually reduced the amount significantly. So hopefully by the end of the week, the algicide would completely get rid of all the algae that I have. As you can see, there's a lot of bubbles coming out of the return lines. That just means I got a lot of air. Not really big deal. Alright, so I got most of the debris out of the pool. It looks decent. Not perfect, but we'll be here all day if you're trying to chase that perfect pool. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect everything. Again, it's kind of a pain in the ass to do when you only got one hand. All right. Disconnected the hose. Now I can go ahead and pull this out. Now you always want to disconnect it from the skimmer line before you pull the vacuum head out of the pool. because you'll start sucking in a lot of air. Pull this off. All right, that's now. You can go ahead and turn the main valve back on. Equalize the pressure. So all that debris that I just vacuumed up, all it does is just basically go into this basket here. It's really not that bad. So maybe later I'll go ahead and disconnect or take the lid off, clean out the basket. Many of the smaller pieces get sucked in and goes into the filter here. It's a paper cartridge filter. I got a Pentair system. Every 3 months or so, you can go ahead and turn your pool equipment off, disassemble everything, take the cartridge filters out, spray them down, and put them back in. They are reusable. They generally last, they say, 2 to 5 years. I'm going on year 3, and they look brand new still. All right, so I got my test kit out. So this is what I like to use. These are the test strips. You just dunk them in the water and compare it to the, I don't even know what you call the graphs here. This here is a total dissolved solid detector. It's just to test the salt, really. But I don't actually need to use this because my Pentair system actually has a sensor in there that tests the salt content, and it will let me know if the salt is low. And that's really accurate, so I basically go by that. All right, so let's go ahead and use the test strips first. These are real simple. It gives you like a ballpark figures. So all you do, close that up. Let's go to the deep end. My deep end is only 5.5 feet deep. The shallow end over there is 3.5 feet deep. So just dunk it in. They say you want to get in about 3 feet, but once you do that, go ahead and hold this up and go ahead and test it. This is really a pain. So chlorine is, it's a little low. Total chlorine is good. So you have free chlorine, total chlorine. Alkalinity, it's good. It's right up in there. Let's see. The pH. pH is actually, it's not bad. Normally I would have to add some acid, but today I won't have to because of probably the acid rain that we got. And cyanuric acid, it's kind of like in between. Cyanuric acid, all it is chlorine conditioner. It protects the chlorine from getting burned off, cooked off by the sun. So it's actually right in the lower end, so it's decent. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit more accurate test here. With those liquid test kits, all I do really is test, for the most part, the pH level and the chlorine level. It does other tests too. But right now I'll be doing the pH. Yep. All right, so what you want to do is get it right on that line. Take the number 4, which is the green solution. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 drop in there. That zeroes out the water, or chlorine, I mean. Then you want to take the number 2 bottle, which is the red. All right, 5 drops for pH test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give it a quick swirl. And cover it up so I don't splash it around everywhere. All right, so put the white backing on there. So it's right at about 7.6. So yeah, I could add a little bit of acid, but it's still within the ideal range. I like to keep mine a little bit more closer to 7.4. So that's actually okay within limits. All right, let's do the total chlorine and free chlorine test. You do the number 1 bottle. Drop 5 drops right in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here we go. Give it a quick swirl. So I can clearly see that the chlorine level's pretty good. It's right in there about 2. That's decent. So that's all we're going to do. All right, so back in my workshop. So we just tested our pool water. Everything looks pretty good. These are some of the chemicals that I normally would use. I didn't have to add any chemicals today. Muriatic acid. This is pretty much just to, bring that pH level down. pH level was actually decent. Didn't need to add any acid. This is a chlorine stabilizer I was talking about. All it is cyanuric acid. Instructions are on the back how to apply this. You can either sprinkle it into the deep end of the pool or dump it directly into your skimmers. My cyanuric acid levels were within specs. It's a little bit on the low end, but still good. This is the algae cleaner killer that I've been using. I had a problem with some algae. I put a couple of big doses in there and it cleaned up like 90% of it. There's still some slight algae staining inside the pool. Hopefully when I keep using this for the next week or two, it'll clean it up completely. This right here is a flocculant super water clarifier. I basically put that in there only if I notice the water getting kind of cloudy. What this does, this combines all the tiny little particles that would pass through the filter normally and combines them into bigger particles so that the filter can actually filter it out. So I don't use this very often. As you can see, I've had this since the beginning of this pool season and I barely used anything. Here in Maryland, most people tend to open up their pools probably around like Memorial Day or so. I opened mine up a little bit before that. I like to have my pool opened, fairly early. So, but anyways, right now it's like 90 plus degrees already. It's only 11:15 in the morning here, and I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy my pool. All right, so that's all you got to do to test your pool water chemicals. It's pretty simple. I am not a pool professional. Just your, average Joe, average homeowner. I like to do stuff by myself, save me some money. Here in Maryland, Harford County, Maryland, for pool service, it can cost anywhere from I think $300 to like $800 a season, depending on what services they provide for you. I like to save the money and do everything on my own. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. And if you like my new channel, like and subscribe. I appreciate the help. Thank you.